What was your scariest moment while working undercover?
Oh, okay. That's a good question. I have a few, but I'll give you one that was pretty bad. Well, like I said, I have a few, but I'll give you one that was kind of bad. Um, so I was up in Washington Heights, which is uptown Manhattan, and I was buying heroin off of these Dominican guys who I never met before. I was introduced to them by a guy I was dealing with for a while, but he couldn't get heroin, so he was bringing me to Washington Heights to meet these Dominican guys. So um, he introduces me to them, and then they actually tell him to leave in the car. This was in my vehicle, in my the car I was driving. They actually tell him to leave. So it's just me and this one Dominican guy, and there was my surveillance team was way, way, way off base, way off site because uh, it's a very congested neighborhood, uh, Washington Heights, especially then. I think it's changed a little bit now, but it wasn't unusual to see cars double and triple parked and basically taking up the whole street just by the way they park their cars. It was nuts, and it seemed like it was an afternoon. Everybody was outside hanging out. I mean, elderly people, middle aged people, everybody was outside. It was like nobody was working, and I got this guy in my car. I only this is the first time I'm meeting him. He asks me if I'm a cop. I tell him I'm not, obviously, and then he makes me drive. Now I got no surveillance. It's just me and him, and there's a couple of guys shooting dice on the sidewalk in front of a house. And again, there's hundreds of people out. And he tells me pull over here, and there was a fire hydrant there, so no, there was not a there was a empty spot. So I pulled into the into the parking spot, and the guys are shooting dice right next to me. And he tells me, "You sure you're not a cop?" And I tell him, "I'm not a cop." And he says, "You better not be." He says, "Turn around." And when I turn around, there was a guy right next to my ear with a Uzi machine gun pointed right at my head. And he says, "If you're a cop, this guy's going to kill you." And I basically told him, "I look like a fucking cop." And we had a little bit of argument, and um, he gets the dope. Now, he comes back with the dope, and I give him the money. And now he's going to count this money. Now, this is how it went from bad to kind of worse. So now he's counting this money, and this is regular money. It's nothing special. The DEA doesn't do anything to this money. All they do is sometimes photostat. We weren't going to take this guy down then and there. He was part of this long-term investigation, so we weren't going to grab him now. And we didn't care. We didn't care if he had buy money on him. Whatever money we were going to give him, he was going to spend. So it wasn't like we did anything to this money. But as he's counting the money, and I want to say it was about $18,000. As he's counting this $18,000, for some reason, a stack of the money had red ink on it, almost like from a big, thick magic marker. And he's counting the money, and then all of a sudden he hits like these couple of bills in a row, like maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 bills with this red marker on it. And he thought it was marked money, which it wasn't marked money. But he thought it was because of just the nature of the way the red was on this paper, the money. And now I got to get into it again with him. And at this point, he's almost convinced that I'm a cop. And he's got the guy here with the machine gun, and me and him are arguing. And my surveillance team is nowhere around. And not by any fault of theirs. There was just nowhere for them. There was no safe place for them to watch me and not be, caught watching me, basically. But anyway, I got out of it, obviously, and lived to lock them up.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Follow us on Twitter at the Hannibal TV for instant updates.